very warm welcome to Daily Dispatch, a show that gives you all the latest news and updates from the digital ecosystem. I'm Priya Sheth. Thank you so much for logging in on a Friday evening. Time now to get you all the top news stories that we've been tracking for you this evening. Well, first up, Trifecta Capital has announced the final close of its Trifecta Venture Debt Fund 2 at 1,025 crore rupees. This fund was launched in March 2019 and has been oversubscribed in its final closing. Now, Trifecta Capital had launched the country's first venture debt fund in 2014 with commitments of 500 crore rupees. Now, this fund, now in its sixth year, has already returned over 3/4 of its capital to its investors. Well, moving on, e-commerce company Flipkart is looking at a possibility of a public listing in the United States through the SPAC route. Special purpose acquisition companies or SPAC have lately become popular routes for taking many companies public. Now, reports suggest that Flipkart may seek a valuation of at least $35 billion through the SPAC route. While Bloom Ventures, in partnership with Avendus, has closed its first of its kind product for the Indian investors in late 2020, the target 300 crore rupee fund has been oversubscribed and has now closed at 350 crore rupees. Now, this fund is designed to allow new investors, existing Fund 1 investors, allied entities investors to hold top performers in Fund 1 for an additional 4 to 5 years. Well, moving on to the final headline of the day, WhatsApp has now launched private and secure one-to-one voice and video calls for its desktop app. WhatsApp will soon be expanding this feature and rolling out group video and voice calls in the future.
All right, moving on to our second segment for the day. We have with us someone who has been running Advantage Club in India. We have with us Smriti Badera. Thank you very much, Smriti, for joining us today on the Daily Dispatch. I want to begin by asking you, the last year has been a volatile year across the board. In terms of employee perks, what kind of employee perks really worked out in 2020?
For us also, it was a similar journey, Priya. So prior to when COVID happened, our major categories used to be dining, shopping, entertainment, and travel. The shift happened, dining, entertainment, and travel completely went down. Shopping emerged, especially online shopping emerged as a very, very major category. Wellness became a very major thing, and we kind of evolved ourselves according to the trend. So for us, where earlier we used to have a major focus on bringing more daily shopping or daily entertainment brands for the consumers, we started focusing more on wellness as a category, which was, to be honest, not that big pre-COVID for us. We brought in brands which are providing top-up insurances. We brought in COVID insurance brands because that was something which was pretty popular at that point. We also integrated with partners who are doing online doctor consultation. So then through Advantage Club, employees could actually go and get like a COVID consultation for free. And they could get like a regular consultation at like 49-50 rupees only, which was a very big benefit at that point of time. Same thing went with education. While daycares, schools were a very large category for us pre-COVID. Post-COVID, we partnered with a lot of online tutoring brands where people would kind of even daycare started going online. So we had like partners who would provide these fun educational things for children at the same time, engaging them at home. Because everyone is stuck in the home together. People didn't know how to manage kids. They were kind of used to having a setup in which they go to office and then the kids go to school. So that's how we also changed our strategy, and we brought those categories which really matter to the population at that time.
But in terms of now 2021, as we enter, what kind of innovation are you bringing on your platform to ensure that going forward there is significant growth that you can see?
So primarily, as the market changes, you have to change yourself according to it. So during 2020, what was the need of the hour were these categories, and then we kind of changed ourselves into those categories. Now that the world is coming almost back to normal, we've realized that there are a few things which have changed. So we've also changed our strategies accordingly. Like for example, now the focus is also on general well-being of organizations, on for employees in general. So we've seen that organizations have started focusing on things like mental wellness, things like overall general financial wellness of employees, because a lot of people at this time had salary cuts, they lost jobs, or even though people who were working had to kind of go down to a lower salary, and people are more cognizant of managing their finances better. So from the wellness perspective, we launched a product called as a flexible benefit wallet. A flexible benefit wallet was like a standard rewarding wallet, but it was restricted to a certain category. So if I, as an organization, I want to only give certain benefits in terms of wellness to my employees, I can either maybe, just buy a lab test package and give it to everyone, or I can create a wallet for them and they can pick and choose what wellness options they want to pick from those. So from a flexible wallet, I could pick something like a lab test center or a therapy session, or maybe something like an online gym membership, whatever I want to pick. So a lot of organizations who wanted to drive wellness have used that wellness wallet as an option. Similarly, for from an organization's perspective, from a corporate perspective, everybody almost started working from home. So the work from home piece also became very significant for us. So we created something called as a work from home wallet. Now, what most organizations at that point were trying to do is they were trying to either reimburse employees for chairs, tables, and having like a proper work from home setup, or they were kind of couriering chairs to everyone, and that's a nightmare because you have to handle logistics, you have to handle deliveries and all of that. So we created that digital wallet called work from home wallet, where employees could choose between chairs, tables, routers, UPS, even headphones, and organizations could enable them just in 2 clicks. So that was like the flexible wallet became a really big hit at this point of time. Similarly, from a financial wellness perspective, we created a product called as an early wage access product, because we realized that a lot of employees are looking for these short term loans, where they go and maybe I need like a 20,000 loan, or a 10,000 rupees worth of loan. Usually people go to like these third parties or maybe B2C companies which are providing short term loans, but the interest rates there are exuberantly high. So what we did is our early wage access program integrates with the payroll of the organization, and because of payroll integration, there are automated deductions which happen from the payroll itself when the loan is to be paid. Because of which we were able to provide really, really good interest rates in the market, which are much better than what is available in general. So that was another major financial wellness piece which we launched. The third piece which we launched was around tax saving modules, because again, employees need to save money now. There are various exemptions made by the government for corporate employees in terms of saving taxes. While meal is the most common, everybody knows that there is a meal tax saving option available. There are a lot of pretty large organizations, doing this particular piece as well. We also cater to other tax saving modules. Like not a lot of people know that there's also a tax saving module for uniform. There is a tax saving module even for fuel and others. So we kind of curated all of those. We created a multi-wallet tax saving card, and it was a digital plus a physical card where employees could, of course, go and physically use it at say a petrol pump. But if they want to say purchase something from online from say a Swiggy for having their meal reimbursements, then they can actually use it online as well. The card also has a wave functionality, so nobody has to touch it. It's like a contactless card as well if I am say somewhere and I want to swipe it. So I think these were the three major initiatives which we launched, looking at the trend and the current situation. We kind of modified our program, and digital R&R, of course, took a very, very major leap at this point of time. Like prior to COVID, a lot of organizations were comfortable giving, like vouchers to employees. Like you can just take an Amazon voucher and you can give it to them as a reward. And there is like a group setup, people clap for the employee, and there is like a proper recognition given to him. But during COVID, everything just stopped. So digital recognition, digital rewarding became a very important factor.
I wanted to ask you here, in terms of overall number of subscribers at this point in time, what is your total count at this point, and what are the kind of targets that you're working with for 2021?
Right. So we work with more than 600,000 users today. They're all corporate employees. They're all people working in organizations. We work with more than 350 companies which have these 600,000 users combined in this. It includes large organizations like Concentrix, Hexaware, Reliance Nippon, and others. So primarily there are different ways in which we work with them. Either we run like an employee perks program, or we have an add-on with the rewards and recognition, early wage access, multi-wallet tax saving card. So we don't position ourselves as just a single perks platform or a single rewards and recognition platform. We have various I'd say tenets to the program, and as an organization you can pick and choose what tenets you want to work with. From a 2021 perspective, we primarily have 2-3 goals. One is, of course, in terms of expansion to various other geographies. While we are primarily having a majority of our users in India, we've also started catering outside India. We're actually live in more than 60 countries today. So it's a very standard ask now that for organizations, they want a uniform platform across various countries. So that's something which is our focus for this year, in which we're trying to also cater to our partners outside India, especially in the focus areas of Southeast Asia, US, UK markets. And the second piece in terms of overall expanding the entire platform is around making these new products which we've launched work. So your early wage access product, which is around financial wellness, or something like your tax saving card. These are the new things which we are looking at for this particular year.
In terms of GMV, I think 100 crore rupees was the kind of GMV that you clocked in 2020. What kind of GMV targets do you hold at this point in time?
So typically we, 2020, of course, was a dip in terms of our GMV, but we came back to our February 2020 numbers, I think somewhere in October, somewhere around the Dussehra, Diwali, when things started getting back to normal, we were back to our February numbers. Today, we're kind of clocking a transaction worth 2 million USD, and which is per month. And this is like our GMV in terms of monthly transactions. And we have more than 200,000 transactions per month, which we run on the platform.
A final question before I let you go. $10 million was the kind of fundraising that you all had done in 2019. Any plans for fundraise, considering the kind of expansion that you all are looking at going forward?
So typically, we are planning to go to the market. We're planning to go to the market in like a couple of months itself. We're looking to raise somewhere in the range of $6 to $7 million. So we've raised $2 million till date from a couple of great investors. We've raised from GrowX Ventures, we've raised from Axelor Ventures, and then there's a fund from Chicago, Kubi Ventures. Then of course Mumbai Angels has also done around with us. So we're kind of looking at a VC round this time. We've done pre-series A till now. We're looking at a Series A kind of a role this time.
All right. On that note, we wish you all the very best for your fundraise going forward and for your growth plans. Thank you so much for being a part of Daily Dispatch.
Thank you, Priya. It was really, really nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, time now to say goodbye. Many thanks for joining us on this week's Daily Dispatch. I'll see you on Monday at 5 p.m. As always, stay safe and have a lovely weekend.